What's up guys, it's Alex here bringing another race preview on F1 2011. This time we're at Canada at the Montreal track, and obviously it's the Canadian Grand Prix. Now I know I don't normally do this at the start of the videos, but if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe, because I do these videos every time the race starts, and I always want your guys' opinions on the race and like what you think's going to happen in the race, who thinks going to have the best chance, who's going to like not do so well. And I really like the interaction with you guys that you put into like most of my videos nowadays, and you know, just thank you all for that. So yeah, let's get into the Montreal preview. I also forgot to say at the end of this video I'm going to be talking about who I think is going to have the best chance to win the title overall, and that's why this video is extra long if you didn't wonder, or you didn't realise even. So who do I think is going to win the Montreal Grand Prix, and who do I think is going to be up there? Well, I think the cars that are going to be fastest around this track is definitely going to be the Mercedes. As you see, I kind of failed there. I'm not sure whether the Lotus will be as fast, but it's definitely going to be up there. I mean, the cars that I know that are going to be up there, or I have a high possibility of being up there, I mean, is the Mercedes, the Ferrari, the Red Bull, the McLaren, the Lotus, the Williams, and maybe some of the other teams. Like I know Force India are always fast where, you know, the tracks are quite straight, like Monza, Montreal and Spa. They're always very fast there, so maybe they'll be good here, but we don't know. And to be honest, it's going to be a great race. I know that, because look at last year. That was an awesome race. Button coming through the field. He started one of the race restarts in last position, and then he came through to win the race. So it's going to be an amazing race. I just hope it doesn't go as long into the night as it did last time. I think it finished at like 8 PM in the UK, so it was a bit weird, but yeah. But for me, the car that looks fastest around the track, and you know, really just seems to have the pace at the moment, it's the Mercedes. It seems to be really fast in a straight line. We saw that last year. Michael Schumacher finished 4th, and for a lot of the time near the end of the race he was in 2nd or 3rd, which means that could have been his first podium back into the sport. But for pole position, I'm going to take a wild shot. I'm going to say Michael Schumacher is going to be on pole. He's an absolute ace round this track. He's won a couple of times around here, and he's super fast. He's in, you know, I think he's in some of the best moments of his career at the moment. I know a lot of people were like, nah, maybe not, but he got pole position at Monaco before his 5th place penalty, and you cannot say that he's slow at the moment. He's on top form, and it's nice to see that he's back up there. I mean, it's either going to be Schumacher or Rosberg for me that's going to be on pole position, and it's going to be a close fight behind. It's going to be a hard fight, I think, for like 3rd, 4th, 5th places. It's going to be, you know, Massa's back on form. I mean, amazing race from him in Monaco. I mean, he could have had a podium for like most of that race, but you know, he had a couple of problems in the pit stops. I think maybe a couple of seconds lost there, which got him out behind Hamilton. But really, I think that Ferrari also are really fast at the moment. I know that a lot of people were criticising at the start of the season, but really at the moment they're on top form. They had a horrible car in the first 3 or 4 races, but now they're on, you know, they're up there. I think they've got a great chance of winning this title, which I'll get on to later. So I don't really know who's going to be fastest after Mercedes. I mean, I assume that Mercedes is going to be fastest because they have a really fast car in a straight line, and that's what Montreal really is. It's about having great top end speed, because there aren't really too many corners around here. I mean, there's a couple of twisty ones at the start of the lap and this hairpin, but otherwise there isn't really too much, you know, need for like high downforce, and that's why you see Red Bull struggling around this track. I mean, the last couple of years, I mean, Vettel could have won it last year, but he had a little mistake on the last lap, I think it was. But yeah, I don't think Red Bull really are going to do well this time, but you know, it's always nice to see a mixture in the field. I mean, it could be a Williams race again. I don't know how their downforce compares to the rest, but they're certainly looking on form. I mean, you saw the Maldonado's win back in Spain. That was a good one, but really it was fastest. But the fastest place for the Williams at that track was the last sector, and if you don't remember, in Spain the last sector is quite twisty. So that's pretty much what I think about qualifying. I mean, I think it is going to inevitably be Mercedes pole position again, which would be nice, because it's nice to see them on form after 3 years. But yeah, let's get into the race and see who is going to be fastest in the race. So over the race distance, over the last couple of races, I suppose bar Monaco, we've seen that the Lotus seems to be the fastest. And even though I don't think it's going to have the greatest high-end speed, I still think it's going to be up there, you know, certainly racing for the win. I mean, it's been such an unlucky start to the season for Grosjean. I mean, I suppose Monaco in a way was his fault, and I suppose some of the other ones, you know, where he had a little bit of an off were partly to blame on him. But you know, he really needs to sort of get a grip and get up there. I mean, he's had a podium, so that's really good. But he's got so much potential. He's a super fast driver, and I just hope that he can get on form for this race. Maybe get up in there in the top 5, fight with like Alonso, Rosberg, Schumacher, Hamilton. That would be really nice to see. And he certainly deserves his drive if he doesn't crash. So yeah, so just really hope it's going to be a good race. And as you see here, I opened the DRS down the front, or the main straight I suppose you can call it, and I just slid into turn 1, out of control. I don't know whether that's going to be a feature in the race, whether that's going to happen, but it was certainly a sort of a close moment for me actually spinning and crashing out of this race. But yeah, so over, except from the Lotus, who else is going to be fast? I mean, McLaren, at the start of the season, they were super fast. They were, at least half a second a lap faster. At the start of the season, I suppose I did think that Red Bull were the fastest, but looking back now, McLaren were really quite dominant. And, it reminds me of what the Red Bull was like last year. But, after the first race, they sort of lost it. I don't know what's happening now. I mean, they could certainly be leading the championship. They could certainly be 1-2 if they'd, kept on form for the first 3 races and then maybe dropped off a little bit in the last 2 or 3. But it's so sort of sad to see McLaren just sort of fall off the cliff, and it's just they've gone. They've sort of disappeared out of the top 3 now. I mean, from my opinion, the top 3 is the Lotus, Ferrari, and Red Bull. And actually, no, not Lotus. Mercedes, Red Bull, and Ferrari. They seem to be the fastest 3, but I'd say that Lotus over race distance are probably about as fast as the Ferrari. So certainly the top 4 are very close, so you could see top 8 drivers very close in this race, as long as none of them crash out. But a safety car is a high possibility here, because the barriers at some parts of the track are millimeters away, and you can see that's where Vettel spun off last year. There wasn't actually gravel there last year, I don't think. Well, there was, but maybe a bit further back. So yeah, that's pretty much the race over. And who do I think is going to be winning at the end of the season? And that is a hard one to call at the moment. But there are 3 drivers that I wouldn't mind winning the title, and I think that have got a good chance. First off is Webber at Red Bull. He seems to have back on form, or seems to be back on form. His car seems to be fast. He seems to enjoy the car. He seems to be getting used to the tyres. And he won at Monaco, and if we look back over the last couple of years, bar 2010, the winner that won Monaco won the championship. I mean, that was true from 2008, 2009, 2011. I can't really remember 2007, but it was actually it was Alonso that won in 2007. But he only came 1 point away from the title. So I know that's a lot of a weird comparison, but that could be a sort of vital part of this championship. The person that wins at Monaco obviously has a huge amount of skill, and Webb was really fast at the moment. Also Rosberg, he's been on tip-top form and is sort of, he's not really up there at that championship fight at the moment, but a few more strong finishes and he'll be right up there. And that will be interesting to see, because Rosberg has never had the car to win a race, and this year, as soon as he has, he's won the 3rd race of the season, and he's on top form, certainly fighting his way. He's fought his way through the field in some occasions and grabbed himself some points, and that's good to see. I mean, it's nice to see that he came 2nd in Monaco. Obviously showing off his skill. And the final person I would like to see win the championship, a final 3 that I actually wouldn't mind seeing winning the championship, is Fernando Alonso. I mean, he's had great maturity at the start of the season. First 4 or 5 races really not having the car to win a race, but somehow winning the race back in Malaysia. And that was an awesome race. I hope it's going to be an awesome championship. Remember to subscribe, guys, and have a great day. It's been Alex, and I'm out here. Bye.